Hello, everyone. This is Rising World, episode 1, actually. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I've done, kind of like just a walk around of what I've done. And then if there's any interest in this video for Rising World, I will build another base and show you exactly how to do everything with all the tips and everything that I've learned in probably 45 hours of gameplay. And that's literally 45 hours of gameplay. Although I'm not, I'm a little bit lazy, so sometimes I just stand around and do nothing. But anyway, I want to give you, this is originally where I spawned, right here. There's my original tent that I spawned in. And then I built up this stuff around here, you know, all the workstations and different things. And then I went up and I leveled all this ground off, although it doesn't seem particularly level as far as the elevation here. But in any case, I did level off a building area, and then I got kind of tired of leveling it off, and so I just decided to build to what I did have leveled, and that was that's why the house turned out the way it did, which I'm kind of pleased with, actually. It's sort of like I built right where I spawned, and we'll take a look. This is what I've done so far. It's a lot of work, but it's fun. If you like building games, if you like Minecraft, if you like anything where you build, this game does have limitations. It's still in alpha. It's not polished yet, so to speak, but it's an interesting game. I wouldn't spend 40-some hours in a game unless I didn't find constructing things interesting. Because in this game, pretty much all you do is you gather resources out in the world, and then you use those resources to build a base or a house, or however you want to call it. There are no zombies in this game. There are no enemies other than cantankerous creatures like bears, and there's tigers and bears, and I mean, there's things that will attack you without you antagonizing them. But there's a lot of other creatures that won't attack you at all. So, in other words, you're not in imminent worry of any danger, and that's a plus. Because I kind of like to just kick back sometimes. You know, I play 7 Days to Die, and that's hectic. This is a lot more laid back, and you can just build stuff. And I hope they come out with another update soon. They're supposed to. They're supposed to put in a water update a month ago, and it still hasn't showed up. But that's going to enable you to, there's going to be water access. And there's going to be apparently, access to boats probably, and that might lead to fishing, and fishing might lead to even farming. So, right now there's basically mining, and to gain resources, mining is very important, and also to use animals the best you can. And that's, excuse me, I'm cracking open a drink here. That's basically what it is. But it's endless entertainment, you know, because there's a lot of stuff to do. I'll take you upstairs here. I got an upstairs part. This is the copper throne. Oh, I got to get rid of that. Yeah, that was a misplaced block, I guess. I didn't notice. Anyway, this is my throne, where I like to, you know, address the people, even though there aren't any people in here. It'd be nice if there was some NPCs or something, but, you know. Anyway, this is the copper throne, and the motif of my build is very sort of arcane. The color contrasting, and there's, you know, some deeper meaning here in how I did things. This is actually my bedroom. See, I put a skylight in. Skylight is actually made out of just windows set on their sides. So, you know, if you want to put skylights in, your build could differ entirely from mine. In fact, you may not even like this build. I happen to like it, and that's really all that matters to me, essentially. So, that's my bedroom. It's a 1-bedroom, 2-bath, because you can't actually use the restrooms. They're just sort of like, you got a toilet, you got a toilet paper roll, you got a radiator to keep yourself warm while you're, and then you got a sink. That's pretty much it. There's no other bathroom. There's no other bathroom or kitchen stuff available, as far as like refrigerators, or let's go back down here. This is the extent of my kitchen. It's a sink and some cabinets and some cabinets, and that's the extent of the kitchen. See, it would be nice to put a refrigerator right here or something, you know, so you can keep your meat fresh, or even though it doesn't go bad yet, but the only time it goes bad is if you burn it while you're cooking it, which is another story entirely. Because there is no ding, like in Stranded Deep or something. You have to actually sit and, well, we'll take you out and show you. This first video is just going to be what I've done. And you can do whatever you want. But this, you know, I mean, your build may differ entirely from mine. Probably will be more imaginative than mine. I don't know. All I know is this smoker is your enemy. If you have meat on there or something, especially bacon, you gotta watch it. And a watch pot never boils, right? But if you have bacon on here, you're in bad shape, because you got to sit and watch it. If you got a chicken on here, you know, you think you can take a break because it takes forever to cook a chicken, and then suddenly it's done and burnt. It's supposed to be that however long it takes to cook it, it takes half the time to burn it. In other words, if you cooked it for 2 minutes, it would take another minute before it burned. But I don't think that's well balanced, because I've had bacon on there that was, you know, still raw, and then I come back 2 minutes later and it's burnt. So you got to watch that. On the hibachi up here, this you can actually view. That doesn't work. That smoker doesn't work unless you keep the lid closed. It doesn't work properly. It'll never cook meat. Well, I don't know about never, but not very often. This thing, at least, you can't put as much on there, but you can kind of keep an eye on it. And this is the kiln, which I have, some ingots ready, because I always spend a lot of time mining. The best thing you can spend your time on is cutting wood and mining, because you're going to need a lot of it. You're going to need a lot of ore. You're going to need a lot of, wool, for instance. And don't make the mistake I made. Whereas with the sheep, I didn't know for the longest time that I didn't have to kill the sheep. I was wondering, what's going on with the cloth? Because I didn't have any cloth. I would kill a sheep and I would get at the most 6 cloth. And then, so I was sneaking up on a sheep once, and I noticed that it had these little scissor things there. And I was wondering, wait a minute. Maybe I need to just shear the sheep instead of killing them. And that turned out to be the case, because sheep are nowhere near as abundant as pigs, which you need for bacon, which is good food, and cows, which are good for steaks. But the sheep are few and far between. And so I was thinking, well, how do you get cloth in this game so you can make the stuff you need? And then I discovered that if you shear the sheep, you don't have to kill them. You just can, come up to them and shear them, and you get like 64 wool, which means you can make quite a bit of cloth out of that. And that was surprising to me. I gotta eat. Sorry. My character seems to be more voracious than he ever was when it comes to eating and such. I like to keep an empty slot up in the quick slots, because I don't like, I like to have empty hands when I'm not doing anything else. Tomatoes are really good for hydration and food. So, we'll eat some of those until, see how the corner stuff gets bright green? The right bottom corner of the screen. That means you're all well fed and ready to go. And then I usually drag my stuff down so I leave myself an empty space. And as far as my inventory goes, I got a pickaxe, an axe, a rake, and a melee weapon. This is what I use when I have to kill pigs or anything else. I opted for the spiked ball, I guess. Seems to work quite well once you get used to using it. But in any case, I'll show you around a little bit. This is kind of how I set it up down here. Of course, you've seen this already. I got decorations around, and I even got a present here. I don't know what it is. These are my storage boxes. This is the storage box where I keep all of my ingots, basically. And some ingots I don't like. I like to carry around iron, because iron always comes in handy. But some of these other ingots, like the copper ingots, they stack to 64. So I can chuck these up into there. I'm thinking about when I build my next base on this game, where I'll show you exactly how to do everything there is to do. I'm going to build it out of copper because I seem to have some of the best luck finding copper. So I got a lot of copper stocked up, so I could actually build an entire building out of copper, which I think is a pretty trick. So far, all I got is the copper throne, you know, and but everything here is sort of black, white, black, white, black, black, white, you know. And this piano, if you ever make this piano, you can actually play this piano. If you know how to play a piano, which I know a little bit about, and I messed around with it a little bit, but it's kind of fun. You can actually play songs on the piano. If you learn how to use the keyboard strokes to do that. I mean, I can play a song on the piano, but I haven't been able to play a song on that piano yet. This is the roof. This is sort of the spiritual, arcane sort of aspect to my build. In other words, like, we're into red and black, and this is our the horned warrior god. And so I encased him in copper and red and black, and set all these very impressive looking fires out here, so that when we need to worship something for spiritual reasons, we can actually come up here and check out Mr. Horn God. But it's this is just this build. Nothing is perfect. Look, see this? I screwed up when I put this. I really tried hard to put this skylight in, and I messed up on this last one and dropped it a little bit low, as you can see. So I'm going to have to destroy that and fix it, because I can't stand mistakes like that. It bugs me. So, you know, unless everything is the way I planned it, I get disappointed. And actually, this red and black thing, it was like black. It was like color cube, and then 2 regular cubes, color cube, 2 regular cubes. The thing is that also bugs me is that it didn't work out over here, because when I came to the end of the rotation, where every other one has 2 cobblestone blocks and a color block, I ended up having to put 1 cobblestone block and 2 color blocks, because mathematically it just didn't work out. But there's no way I could have known that from the beginning. It's a beautiful game. It really is. And I hope they continue updating it and paying attention to it, because it could be so much more. You know, if you like building games, which I happen to love building stuff. So that's just me. And then, so I'm tied in to the horned god, you know, with my copper throne, or my copper surrounded throne. Anyways, I tried to add a little bit of, you know, something. These stairs can be a little bit obnoxious at times. Usually this one's pretty easy. I don't know what's going on here. There we go. Anyway, you know, it's interesting to build all this stuff. When you first spawn in, you're going to just have this tent, and then you're going to have to, you know, get all the resources you need to build whatever sort of imaginative base you want. And there's a lot of ideas out there. So this happened to be my idea. for this particular base. And what I do next is build another base. And I think I found the perfect spot for it. And with that, I'm going to, if there's any interest in this video at all, and Rising World is not, you know, first on everybody's wish list, but it's a beautiful game. It has a lot of beautiful aspects to it. I mean, we can run out here for a minute and you can see, you know, you got apple trees. Apples are always good. You got animals, like there's, wait a minute, there's some tomatoes over here. Those are really good for hydration purposes. Lacking a watermelon. Watermelons are hard to find. If you find a watermelon, you only need one slice and it takes you up to 100% hydration. But they're not easy to find. You can chop down trees anywhere. You can pretty much do whatever you want. These, this is where I started mining, is in these places that were, you know, like pits in the ground. But in another episode, I'll show you where you really mine. Mining these things is good for an okay start, because you're going to need stone, and you're going to need stuff. And, you know, they are readily accessible. That was a goat, by the way. And these goats, the thing is, if you smack a goat, they're benign until you smack them. And then they come at you with them horns. So, and yeah, you don't want to smack a bear or a tiger either. It gets a little dicey. But the animals more or less have a "I'll leave you alone if you leave me alone," you know, sort of philosophy. There's a moose. Hey, moose. There's chickens. Oh, look at that. What a nice sunset. There's moose. There's sheep. There's just an entire universe of animals out here, if you look hard enough for them. Bears. I mean, it's endless. And it's a perpetual, I mean, it's a perpetually spawning world. So, you know, when you go outside the map, it'll render in for you what that map is. And in future episodes, if there are any future episodes, I will show you exactly how to do what you need to do. And thanks for watching. And remember to leave a like or subscribe. And I'll catch you later. Bye.